Hello, and welcome to Friday Live here on Nebraska Public Media. I'm Genevieve Randall. Today's pre-recorded show is our holiday special with musical performances, poetry, and some seasonal stories. For one of our stories, writer, theater director, illustrator, and artist Bob Hall voices a Nebraska soldier remembering a Christmas at Fort Robinson.
When they saw me, they began to shout, "The Christmas wagon has come!" Hearing them, the officers and men came out.
We've also got new music. First, 1517 with The King Shall Come.
The King shall come when morning dawn, when morning dawn, when morning. The King shall come when morning dawns and light triumphant breaks, when beauty gilds the eastern hills and life to joy awakes. Not as of old a little child to bear and fight and die, but crowned with glory like the sun that lights the morning sky. Oh, brighter than the rising morn, when Christ victorious rose and left the lonesome place of death, despite the rage of foes. Oh, brighter than that glorious morn shall dawn upon our race, the day when Christ in splendor comes and we shall see his face. The King shall come when morning dawns and light and beauty reigns. Hail Christ the Lord, your people pray. Come quickly, King of Kings.
This is the Friday Live Holiday Special from Nebraska Public Media. We've got a new song for the holiday season next from Lincoln-based band The Wildwoods. This is Echoes of Evergreen.
On Christmas Day, do you remember the magic of being a child in December? The glow of the lights and the sight of the presents. Your grandfather spoke like an angel from heaven. Echoes of evergreen fill up my ears. It feels like a dream and I'm fighting back the tears. You've brought it back to me. You've brought it back to me. The echoes of evergreen. On Christmas Eve, hold close your people. Cherish every wreath till they've lost every needle. The crackle of a record brings me peace of mind. Perfect flaws frozen in time. Echoes of evergreen, tears in my eyes. There's beauty in the gloomy gray winter skies. You've brought it back to me. You've brought it back to me.
Echoes of Evergreen from Lincoln's The Wildwoods. Matt Mason was Nebraska's Poet Laureate from 2019 to 2024. He's traveled the world because of his poetry, but still calls Nebraska his home. Here he presents a poem called Blessings for December 29th.
Today, let us celebrate in this strung garland of holidays, this fifth day of Christmas. Let us celebrate introversion. Let us celebrate anti-socially, in whispers, in pajama pants, in sofas, in the thickest comforters and joy, in the decrescendo version, in 5 golden rings spoken in inside voice only, as wistful blessing. Let the carolers carol from a block or more distant. Let us feel no shame to be on a Monday, letting emails chill, letting the phone bells ring, all hail the solitude of a bedroom door. Bring me the shortbread, bring me the tea, bring the remote, and close the door quietly.
That was Matt Mason's poem, Blessings for December 29th. Matt still writes poetry, as well as does readings and writing workshops. Let's hear a song for the season by local singer-songwriter Andrea Von Campen, her version of Silent Night.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round young virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Savior is born, Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
That's Andrea Von Campen with her cover of Silent Night. We'll hear another from Andrea later this hour. You're listening to our Friday Live Holiday Special. Fort Robinson, Nebraska provides the following holiday story of devotion and courage. It can be found in A Frontier Army Christmas, a book published by the Nebraska State Historical Society. Martin J. Weber, an old soldier, remembered.
December 1882, then a corporal in Troop H, 5th Cavalry. I was ordered to report to the quartermaster at Fort Sidney, the nearest railroad point, to get our Christmas goods and bring 'em back. A driver and a 6-mule team were detailed for the purpose.
Weber carried out his orders and headed back to Fort Robinson.
The weather had turned cold, and frost began to fly through the air, indicating a storm. The next morning, the storm broke in all its fury, a regular blizzard raging. We had to head into the storm. We made Camp Clark, where the Sidney Black Hills Trail crossed the North Platte River. The bridge tender and his wife advised us to stay until the storm passed. As much as we disliked to leave the snug quarters and hot meals, we bid 'em goodbye and headed into the storm. We got to the Running Water stage station the night of the 23rd. Here we had hay for mules and horses, and a warm place to cook our supper. How good that hot coffee tasted! It gave us new life and courage for the last 20 miles of our journey. A stage had broken the trail to the top of Breakneck Hill. The storm had passed, and the fort was only 5 miles away. We got safely down the Breakneck, crossed White Clay Creek, and broke trail across the valley, arriving at the fort on the 24th. When I passed the officers' quarters, the kiddies were all out, running up and down the walks. When they saw me, they began to shout, "The Christmas wagon is come!" Hearing them, the officers and men came out. They could hardly believe it until the teamster drove his 6 weary mules up and we began to unload the Christmas goods. Even the officers were willing to help. So, old Santa arrived, and there was a Merry Christmas after all had given up hope of seeing either. I was snowblind and had to wear dark glasses for some time after that. 1 year later, I was promoted to First Sergeant of Troop H.
Thanks to Sharon Kennedy and David Bristow for pointing us to this story. It's from the book A Frontier Army Christmas, published by the Nebraska State Historical Society. Another song from Lincoln-based band The Wildwoods. This is Somewhere in the Snow.
Curling up by the fire, Christmas Eve with the one I admire. Blankets of snow have covered the street. Little clay elves are on the TV. Ooh, Merry Christmas. Ooh, Merry Christmas, my dear. Forget every trouble you've ever known. We bury them deep somewhere in the snow. Ooh. She woke me up with a bow on her head, dressed up in green, dressed up in red. High in the oven and sat her on the stove. What a blessing it is to spend Christmas at home. Ooh, Merry Christmas. Ooh, Merry Christmas.
An original for the holiday season from the Wildwoods. We heard Somewhere in the Snow here on our Friday Live holiday special. Voice actor Dick Terhune was on the airwaves in Nebraska for many years. He was back in town to perform a one-man version of A Christmas Carol. While he was here, he gave us an example of the different voices and characters he'd be playing on stage.
I have come here to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of my procuring, Genevieve. Listen to Friday Live.
Humbug! A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket once a week. Friday Live. I shall retire to Bedlam.
Voice actor Dick Terhune here on Friday Live as Marley's Ghost and Scrooge. For even more lively conversations about arts and humanities in Nebraska, check out the weekly Friday Live Extra.
It has been a long-time dream of mine to play at Buck's. It's this awesome bar kind of near like Venice, Waterloo, Nebraska, and the community has really rallied around the bar, and it's really just cool to see live music still being appreciated.
The Friday Live Extra is downloaded when you subscribe to the Friday Live podcast, or you can listen on our website at nebraskapublicmedia.org. Just ahead on our Friday Live holiday special, an ode to all of the closed restaurants in Nebraska's biggest city. This time of year in French is referred to by the word Noël. And when it comes to a wintry sound like snow falling or icicles sparkling, there's nothing quite like the sound of the hammered dulcimer. Paul Siebert is a master of the instrument who's been hosting shows, classes, living history events, and more for decades in Nebraska. We'll hear him play his hammered dulcimer version of the first Noël. The first Noël played on the hammered dulcimer by Nebraska's Paul Siebert.
This is Friday Live with Genevieve.
We've got another song for you next, a tune from the String Beans called Snowflakes. And it's all beans all the time on this one, no instruments, just voices with a sweet song about the joys in the changing seasons.
The sky is white with stars tonight. They tumble down without a sound. Snowflakes dance in the air. Snowflakes falling everywhere. I can't wait to run and play. Snowflakes take my breath away. Paint the world in ivory. Snowflakes always make me smile. The world is white, so clean and bright, and we run outside for a sleigh ride. Snowflakes dance in the air. Snowflakes falling everywhere. I can't wait to run and play. Snowflakes take my breath away. Paint the world in ivory. Snowflakes always make me smile. Let's put our coat and mittens on. You and I could make snow angels. Ask our friends to come along. If the snow is good and deep, we can play outside all day long. We could build ourselves a big snowman to watch our house while we're asleep. Snowflakes dance in the air. Snowflakes falling everywhere. I can't wait to run and play. Snowflakes take my breath away. Paint the world in ivory. Snowflakes always make me smile.
The String Beans here on our Friday Live holiday special with a song called Snowflakes. Tony Bach is a Nebraskan whose career has spanned journalism, branding, and comedy. Recently, Bach was inspired by an article he read chronicling all of the restaurant closures in Omaha. Here's Tony Bach reading his poem, "'Twas the Night Before Closures."
'Twas the night before closures when all through the metro not a fryer was sizzling, not even Alfredo. The tap rooms were silent, the ice cream all gone, and the streetcar construction kept right rolling on. Bad Seeds mugs were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that one last funky latte'd appear. But September arrived with a cryptic little note. "We're done," the coffee manager quietly wrote. Backswing in October gave Omaha its last pour, said, "We love you, but Lincoln needs us a bit more," and Burger Detour pulled a true Christmas ghost. Staff awoke to a mass text. The comments were closed. Copal tried a farewell with a grandmother's grace, till crowds forced them shut early. Too much love in one place. Countryside cones melted, and Frosties fell to the cold because winter's relentless when the economy's old. Modern love died, then arose 5 days later like a vegan Lazarus with tiramisu on a platter. Nebraska brewing through a party instead of a wake, and Camp Blackstone sank in a streetcar-shaped quake. Davlo baked its last pizza, Shaheen's final feast, and Starbucks, well, multiple, vanished into the east from Maple to Dodge to the Lincoln P. Street. Even the mermaid said, "Nah, this year I'm beat, but hear me, dear Omaha, don't give in to the fright." Because holiday tales always turn toward the light, for down in our Whoville, new kitchens are humming, and like gifts under the tree, fresh restaurants are coming. Africana plate open doors with a cheer, serving dishes my algorithm's been craving all year. Bora Bora grew bigger, more smoothies, more joy. Class A Cadigo elevated tacos like a toy. Curry in a Hurry came back, resurrected, a sequel no one expected, but everyone wanted. La Cime's ice cream is promised in 26, and North Italia already has West O in a fix. Traditious is frying up culture with pride. VIP pizzas folding slices you can barely hide. And Vino Mas, well, they give us mas yet again because wine bars are how this city copes, my friend. So as this year closes, let's channel some cheer. Support what's surviving, welcome what's near, And if the Grinch of 25 tries stealing more bites, we'll greet him with fry bread and festive food fights.
Tony Bach reading his poem titled "'Twas the Night Before Closures." There's a Ukrainian carol played on the sparkling hammered dulcimer that's ahead, a story about an early Christmas in the Sandhills, and much more here on our Friday Live holiday special. Right now, we get to hear Daniel Martinez play Christmas music with his own arrangement, fusing a flamenco style with holiday tradition. Daniel Martinez with his flamenco-infused version of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen.
This is Friday Live.
More poetry next from former Nebraska Poet Laureate Twyla Hansen.
I open the glass door to the dark, invite in the thicket. Quiet, but for leaf flaps, while the sun slides up slow. I cannot distinguish between multiple dim trunks and the duff below turning to compost, that everyday decay, its silent music. And just beyond is a pile where I invite small furred ones to feast overnight on food scraps. Soon the first calls of jays, "Hey, hey!" wake up to those still here. Most have flown, pulled by the magnetic field, the loss of light which our bones comprehend. They're leaving like other multiple departures we do not always notice. Over the years, they pile up like leaves, each one diving to its bright death. Yet here each morning, the day turns brighter. Each bird brings me sustenance as they wing their way to my world. Thank you.
Twyla Hansen reading her poem Each Morning. Raised in northeast Nebraska on land her grandparents farmed as Danish immigrants, she now resides in Lincoln on her wooded and wild-flowered acre of urban wildlife habitat. I'm Genevieve Randall from Nebraska Public Media. You're listening to our Friday Live Holiday Special. We'll bring back guitarist, hammered dulcimer player, singer, and more Paul Siebert for his arrangement of Carol of the Bells. We heard Carol of the Bells from Paul Siebert, who hosts shows, classes, living history events, and more all across Nebraska. Glad you've joined us for this year's Friday Live Holiday Special from Nebraska Public Media. I'm Genevieve Randall. We'll hear more from the String Beans later. There's also a toe tapper from the Plymouth Brass. Sherry Beam Calloway has shared a story from her family for several years on our Friday Live Holiday Special. She was a storyteller and educational speaker for over 35 years as part of Humanities Nebraska's Speakers Bureau. I feel fortunate to have been invited to her historic and beautiful home in Fremont to record this next segment with associate producer Dave Hughes. Sherry was the founder of John C. Fremont Days, an accomplished artist, historian, and naturalist. She received state and community awards for volunteerism and historical preservation. She was diagnosed with leukemia in August. She passed away in September of this year. Her family and friends are in our thoughts as they miss her this holiday season. She told us that one of her fondest childhood memories was staying in her grandparents' sod house. As a fifth-generation Nebraskan with 12 sets of family, including 5 sets of grandparents that homesteaded in western Nebraska, she shares a story from her family in the voice of her grandmother.
In early homesteading days, Nebraska was a treeless prairie, especially western Nebraska. And having a Christmas tree to decorate was out of the question. Christmas on the prairie was difficult, especially having gifts for your children. The mothers worried about it. Before town sprung up, then the early day peddlers would go through with high-topped wagons full of supplies. And the mothers would hope that they had a few coins to be able to purchase maybe a piece of horehound candy or a peppermint stick or a lemon drop or something like that they could hide away to be able to give to them on Christmas. They also hoped they might maybe have some yarn to be able to make the child a new pair of mittens or socks or something like that. But they had to be very creative because oftentimes they did not even have that. One of the things that was highly prized that they came up with was to take the carcass of the rib cage of buffalo and cattle and put the rib cage together and make them into sleds for the kids. And they would tie them together and then they would put quilts or a piece of hide or something in there for them to have a sled on Christmas. They oftentimes hardly even had extra food to be able to make it special, so it was very hard on the women of what in the world that they were going to do to handle it. The story that I'm going to relate to you is actually my great-grandma, Elizabeth Brennan. She came from Ireland with her husband, Michael, and they homesteaded in western Nebraska, Garden County in 1890, and they lived in a sod house in the Sandhills. So I take you back in time. I started worrying about Christmas months before it be coming. We tried so hard to figure out what to be giving me children, and one year we were real hard up. There was nothing at all that I could think to be giving them. And I was always wanting to be able to give them a new pair of shoes or maybe a peppermint stick or anything, but it was hard not for me to be blue and working my brain trying to figure it out, and there weren't any trees to decorate at all. I kept thinking, what am I going to do to make this special? And then I thought of it. I asked me Michael, I said, go and get a branch off of the plum thicket or out of the chokecherry bush and take the branch and you hide it in the barn where the children won't be getting it. And then on Christmas Eve, I'll be bringing it in. And I had this little box that was my own little box. It was the only thing that was mine, and the children knew not to be getting in it. And in that little box, I started putting special things for the night of Christmas Eve. And finally the night come, and I fried up a chicken, and we did have some wild plums that I was able to cook up, and so we had a special pie of plum pudding that evening. And when we got all done and our bellies were full, then I told Michael to go get the little branch. We brought the branch in, and we put it in a can in the middle of the table. And then I brought out the box. And in the top of it, I had little strips, tiny little strips of rags that I had ripped into little pieces, and I handed them to the children, and I said, you take these and you tie them all the way around the branches. And they took them a long time to be doing it. And then when they got that done, then I got the rest of the things I'd been saving. I had things like chicken wishbones, and I had yucca pods, from the prairie, feathers that I had found on the prairie, and dried grasses, whatever I could be coming up with that I thought they could be decorating with. And I would hand them the next and the next thing. It took 4 hours of fun for them to be decorating it. When they got it all done, then I brought out the next thing that I had secretly been making, these tiny little candles. I told them to take the candles and tie them onto the branches. And then when they got it all done, I lowered the fire in me stove and I told them to light 'em. And we went around the table, all of me family, all of me children, me husband. We all stood in a circle and held hands. And we lit the little candles and began to sing, "Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright." And there we were in my little sod house. Not a gift was exchanged. The only thing we had was that little tree and ourselves. And I think it's probably the most beautiful Christmas that we ever be having.
Sherry Beam Calloway speaking as her grandmother, remembering an early Nebraska Christmas in her family. You can read more about Sherry's many contributions to Nebraska history and more in her obituary. The link is on the Friday Live page at nebraskapublicmedia.org. This is a Friday Live holiday special. Another song from Nebraska singer-songwriter Andrea Von Campen next. This is her cover of Where Shepherds Lately Knelt, a hymn originally written by a Czech Lutheran pastor.
Where shepherds lately knelt and kept the angel's word, I come in half belief, a pilgrim strangely stirred. But there is room and welcome there for me, and welcome there for me. In that unlikely place, I find him as they said, sweet newborn babe, how frail, and in a manger bed, a still small voice to cry one day for me, to cry one day for me. How should I not have known Isaiah would be there, his prophecies fulfilled? With pounding heart I stare, a child, a son, the Prince of Peace for me, the Prince of Peace for me. Can I, will I forget how love was born and burned its way into my heart, unasked, unforced, unearned, to die, to live, and not alone for me, and not alone for me.
Andrea Von Kampen singing her version of a hymn called Where Shepherds Lately Knelt. This is the Friday Live Holiday Special. Alexios Anist is a guitarist and composer who studied at West Nebraska Community College, the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Berklee College of Music, and studied overseas in Granada, Spain. He has also been a featured soloist with The World of Hans Zimmer, a touring production featuring the music of film composer Hans Zimmer. This is some of Alexios' original music that combines classical and rock, titled Winter Night. Music composed and performed by Alexios Anist, originally from Baird, Nebraska. That was an original titled Winter Night. This is the Friday Live Holiday Special. I'm Genevieve Randall. Don't miss our traditional show wrap-up with a look towards the new year and a celebratory ragtime piece from First Plymouth Brass. Right now, another from the String Beans. This is Reindeer Rodeo.
Hi, sports fans. This is Sprinkles, the Christmas elf, reporting live from the North Pole. It's the annual Reindeer Rodeo. Yay!
The day after Christmas, Santa goes to bed. The elves unhook the reindeer and put away the sled. Dasher and Dancer and Prancer eat some hay, but Comet and Cupid and Blitzen wanna play in the snow. There they go, it's a reindeer rodeo, to and fro in the snow at the reindeer rodeo. There's roping with garland and dancing in midair. An Eskimo plays banjo, the clown's a polar bear. The elves ride the reindeer and hold on extra tight. They spin around, upside down on a crazy Arctic flight in the snow. There they go, it's a reindeer rodeo, to and fro in the snow at the reindeer rodeo. What a sight to see them fly through the crisp December sky. Yodel-lady-o, yodel-lady-o, yo ho 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 ho. Mrs. Claus makes hot cocoa with candy canes and marshmallow. Yodel-lady-o, yodel-lady-o, yo ho 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 ho.
Okay, folks, this is Sprinkles. I'm down here on the arena floor with this year's winner, Jingles. Jingles, what's your secret to winning the reindeer rodeo?
Well, the first thing you gotta remember is the antlers always go in front.
That's good advice. What else?
Well, I like to pack my britches with Stay Puft Marshmallows. It's kind of a rough ride out there. Plus, then you get a snack at the end.
Rodeo, rodeo, it's a reindeer rodeo. Rodeo, rodeo, it's a reindeer rodeo. Rodeo, rodeo, it's a reindeer rodeo. Rodeo, rodeo, it's a reindeer rodeo.
That's our live report from the reindeer rodeo. This is Sprinkles the Elf saying, have a great new year, everybody.
Hey, does anybody want a warm marshmallow?
We heard the String Beans with their original holiday tune, Reindeer Rodeo. Next, here on this Friday Live Holiday Special, Plymouth Brass from a New Year's Eve celebration. This is Tiger Rag. Tiger Rag, performed by Plymouth Brass. Thanks to John Casey and Tom Kelly for this recording. That performance was recorded at First Plymouth Church in 2010 as part of the Plymouth Brass New Year's Eve concert. This year's Last Blast concert is 3 p.m. New Year's Eve at First Plymouth Church in Lincoln. You've been listening to the Friday Live Holiday Special. Be sure to visit the Nebraska Public Media website for podcasts of the show at nebraskapublicmedia.org. Thanks to everyone who makes Friday Live possible, including associate producers Dave Hughes and Arthur Jones. I'm Genevieve Randall.